What we need is not more medications, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. This is Exposé coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, every Monday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. I'm your regular host, Tony Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge.
Hello and welcome to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi this very wonderful Monday evening from Nigeria, West Africa. Same platform, YouTube and Facebook, 8 p.m. West African time every week, where we share a weekly tonic for your wellness. We started talking about the medicinal properties of certain herbs. And last week, we spoke about two of them: hibiscus flower tea and ginseng. And today we hope to talk about 2 or 3 more in the series on herbs. And the first one we'll be talking about today, which will be number 3 on the list, is 40. F-O-T-I, 40. Now 40 is also known as he shu wu or ho shu wu. It's a dried tuberous root of the plant Polygonum multiflorum. That's the botanical name, Polygonum multiflorum. It's a herbaceous climbing vine that's native to the country of Japan. But before we continue to discuss 40, let me ask you, do you already have your blue light blocking glasses? I have highly recommended those for those of you who stare on screens of your devices, on your phones, on your iPad, on your laptop, on your desktop, on television set. You know, the light emanating from the screen, particularly in the evening, is not particularly good for your health. All right, blue light can help to stimulate you such that when it's time to go to bed, you are not able to sleep well. 2 hours, it is said that 2 hours before you go to bed, you're not supposed to expose your eyes to blue light anymore. Of course, when you wake up in the morning and the sun rises, the sun also comes with blue light in the morning. And the whole idea is to awaken you, to energize you, to get you ready for the day's work, to be productive. But as the day gets over and you need to begin to wind down, you need to stop exposing your eyes to blue light. That's why the sun goes down, so that you no longer have blue light in nature. But we humans have created all kinds of blue lights around us, from our fluorescent lamps to the screen of our devices. But then there's a solution. Just obtain a blue light blocking glasses. I have mine, and I do wear it occasionally, particularly when I am in the studio and studio lights are on my face. Sometimes I like to wear them. They are not reading glasses. They are supposed to be blue light blocking glasses. They are available for those of you who can access Amazon.com. You can get it there, or any other platform for that matter. And for those of you in Nigeria, you can get it at Havila Health Haven. It's available there. This is mine, and so permit me to wear it today again. Blue light blocking glasses. Now let's get back to 40. Now 40 should not be confused with the herbal mixture that is often marketed as 40 Tieng. Now, 40 Tieng is actually a registered trademark representing a product that combines 3 different herbs. It combines Gotu Kola, which is obtained from Asia, with Meadow Sweet, which is obtained from Europe, and Kola Nut, which is obtained from Africa, particularly Nigeria. So you have Gotu Kola, you have Meadow Sweet, and you have Kola Nut. Those 3 items are combined to make the product known as 40 Tieng. It's different from 40 that we're talking about. Okay, now 40 and ginseng, or ginseng, as the case may be, are 2 rejuvenating herbs that deliver the elixir of youth effect to those who consume them regularly. So if you are taking ginseng, you may want to add 40 to it as well. According to one of the greatest physicians and pharmacologists in Chinese history by the name Li Shizhen, whose major contribution to medicine was in his 40-year work contained in his epic book that he titled Benkao Ganmu. I hope I pronounced that well. I don't speak Mandarin. But in English, it translates to the Compendium of Materia Medica. That's the translation into English. Compendium of Materia Medica. And it was published in the 16th century, precisely in the year 1578. Okay? Now, Li Shizhen, this Chinese physician and pharmacologist, actually said that 40 may help to preserve the original color of our hair. In other words, preventing premature graying, as well as preventing hair loss. It can make our skin to glow. It can help to rejuvenate the teeth and serve also as an anti-aging tonic, according to Li Shizhen, one of the greatest physicians and pharmacologists in Chinese history. Now, 40's anti-aging effect on the body is attributed in part, to the herb's tonic effect on the kidneys and the liver. According to TCM, that's traditional Chinese medicine, the theory of traditional Chinese medicine, the condition of hair on the head, according to TCM, is governed by the kidneys and nourished by the blood in the liver. That's traditional Chinese medicine. So they believe that whatever helps to tone the kidneys and the liver, whatever supports kidney health and liver health, is also, in theory, going to support the health of hair, all right, as well. So if you want to regrow your hair, boost your immunity, then 40 is something you can go to. It's actually available as supplements in capsule all over the place, all right? That is 40. Now, the second herb we'll be talking about today, which will be number 4 in the series, is Anamu, A-N-A-M-U. Now, according to Dr. Al Sears, in an article that he published as far back as 2010, precisely on July 19, 2010, Dr. Al Sears said, Anamu, the botanical name is Petiveria aliacea. He says Anamu grows throughout Central America and South America, as well as the Caribbean, and even in Africa, where I live. Anamu contains many active compounds that protect the body against bacteria, against fungi, and even, diseases like cancer. It contains 2 properties that kill cancer cells, but they don't damage healthy cells. They are very selective in their attack to cells. They are targeted only at aberrant cells, cancer cells, not normal cells. Anamu also stimulates the immune system. Like I said, anything that can help to bolster the immune system will be beneficial to cancer patients, because one of the things in cancer patients is a compromised immune system. So in one study, Anamu actually was found to increase natural killer cells, that is, the cells that destroy disease-causing agents throughout the body. Anamu was found to increase natural killer cells by as much as 100%. It doubled the effect of these natural killer cells when Anamu was taken. It also increases chemicals such as interleukin and interferon. Now, these are chemicals that help to protect us against future infection and disease. Anamu protects against bacteria, it protects against viruses, it protects against, fungi, yeast, if you please. So it's a very wonderful herb. It also guards against urinary problems as well as diabetes. In fact, in one animal study, blood sugar levels was said to drop more than 60% within 1 hour of taking Anamu. Now, some native healers use Anamu as a pain reliever because it contains COX-1 inhibitor, and this COX-1 inhibitors is now the active ingredient in the new arthritis drugs that are sold by pharmaceutical companies these days. You must have heard about COX-2. Now, this one contains COX-1. Now, traditional healers actually make an infusion. I spoke to you in the previous episode about infusions and decoctions. Infusions are when you make extracts from, the leaves or the flowers, and decoction when you make it from the bark or the seeds, all right? So traditional healers make an infusion using 30 grams dried Anamu in a liter of water. 1 liter of water, they add, 30 grams of dried Anamu. And when that infusion is made, they make people drink like 1/4 cup to half a cup once to thrice daily. You can also take, the dried powdered Anamu herb as a capsule. I suggest taking, if you're taking the capsule, 500 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams per day, preferably in divided doses. If you're taking 1,000, for example, you can take 500 milligrams in the morning, 500 milligrams in the evening. Now, again, there is a warning when it comes to Anamu, the same way that I mentioned for hibiscus flower tea and ginseng. When I mentioned hibiscus flower tea, I said it is contraindicated for those who are women that want to get pregnant, all right? Now, for ginseng, I said it can also serve as a blood thinner. So if you are on a blood thinner, medication, blood thinning medication, you don't want to add another blood thinner to it so you don't over-thin your blood and have internal bleeding. Now, in the case of Anamu, it is said that it can cause uterine contractions. So don't use it if you're pregnant because it can cause abortion. Because it also contains a low concentration of a blood thinner that is called coumadin. Anamu has, this natural coumadin present in it. So if you're already on blood thinning medication, again, you have to check with your healthcare provider before using Anamu. So if you are using the blood thinner medication or blood thinning medication, stay away from ginseng and stay away from Anamu. All right? If you're pregnant as a woman, stay away from Anamu. If you intend to get pregnant, stay away from hibiscus flower tea. Those are the contraindications. All right? Now, the third herb that we'll be talking about today, if time permits, we'll be able to cover a lot of grounds with it, and that is cat's claw, the claws of cats. Of course, not the natural claws of natural cats, but the herb is called cat's claw. Okay? The botanical name is Oncaria tomentosa. Oncaria tomentosa, and it's from the rainforest of Peru. And it is known there in the Spanish language, I hope I can pronounce it right, it's called una de gato. U-N-A-D-E-G-A-T-O, una de gato. That's cat's claw. Now, it has been studied, at research facilities in many countries, particularly in its home country, Peru, in Europe, in Austria, in Germany, in England, in Hungary, even in Italy. Since the 1970s, cat's claw has been studied extensively. And these studies suggest that the herb may be beneficial in the treatment of many conditions, ranging from arthritis to bursitis to allergies to diabetes to lupus to chronic fatigue syndrome, even to cancer. Now, I normally recommend, cat's claw to women who have been treated for breast cancer, particularly hormone-positive breast cancers, because cat's claw actually works similarly with the drugs that they normally give to breast cancer patients after treatment for them to use for 5 years post-treatment. There are certain drugs that oncologists will recommend to breast cancer patients after they have been treated. They ask them to take those drugs for the next 5 years. They are hormone blockers, so to speak. Okay, now, cat's claw does exactly what those pharmaceutical drugs do. So, cat's claw have been used in addressing, that condition in people with cancer. It has been used in addressing herpes, okay? Even depression, menstrual irregularities, as well as, stomach and intestinal disorders. These are the different things that cat's claw has been deployed for. Now, a wealth of beneficial phytochemicals have been found in cat's claw that includes things like quinovig, which is quinovic acid glycosides, several oxindole alkaloids, proanthocyanidins, polyphenols, triterpenes, and the plant sterols beta-cytosterol. I recommend beta-cytosterol to men that are dealing with prostate enlargement or prostate cancer. Very wonderful sterol there. Beta-cytosterol, B-E-T-A, beta, alpha, beta, gamma, okay? Beta-cytosterol. It contains other, plant chemicals like stigmasterol, campesterol, and what have you. Now, researchers believe that the activity of the whole plant extract is greater than the sum of its parts. In other words, when you start taking these individual, chemicals that I have mentioned, you start separating them and use them individually, it doesn't work as well as when all of them are together to form synergy. They kind of collaborate to potentiate their effects and get better outcomes. So it is said that the whole plant extract is greater, the effect, the activity is better and greater than the sum of its parts. Don't go away. When we come back in the second part of today's episode, we will continue our discussion of cat's claw as herb number 5 in this series. I'll be back very shortly. People are broke and they are not financially viable because they lack good money-making ideas. You may desire to have money, but if you don't have the knowledge of money and the knowledge of how to make money, money is a game. Every rule that you find in a game also applies to money. In a game, some win and some lose. The game of money, some people win money, some people lose money.
Native Financial Intelligence by Reverend Tony Akinyemi is a transformative guide to managing your finance with practical strategies rooted in biblical principles and common sense. Start your journey to financial empowerment today. Grab your copy now.
Welcome back. This is still Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, and I'm honored to always be your regular host. We're talking about the medicinal properties of certain herbs. And we're currently on herb number 5 in this series, which is cat's claw. Now, before we went on that short break, I did mention the fact that when certain women are treated for breast cancer, after their treatment, they normally give them some pharmaceutical drugs for them to take for about 5 years to prevent the recurrence of the breast cancer, particularly for breast cancers that are hormone positive, all right? And one of those pharmaceutical drugs is called tamoxifen. Now, cat's claw, which we've been talking about, has the same effect as tamoxifen. In fact, is the herbal equivalent of tamoxifen, all right? I have personally recommended it to a few of my clients who have been treated for breast cancer with good effects, all right? Now, according to a particular website that I visited, the website of Natural Health and Longevity Resource Center, the properties attributed to cat's claw include adaptogenic effect. I'm sure you know what adaptogens are. Okay, I mentioned ginseng last week as an adaptogen, all right? Cat's claw also has adaptogenic effect. It has antimicrobial effect. It has antioxidant effect. It has anti-inflammatory effect. It has antiviral effect. And it also has anti-tumoral effect. That is, effect against tumors, whether benign or malignant tumors. Now, in referring to cat's claw, Newsweek actually reported that cat's claw, this rainforest herb, has been long used to treat asthma, ulcers, and cancer. In an article that was titled Nature's Biggest Sellers in Newsweek of November 6, 1995, on page 68. Now, the anti-inflammatory qualities of castor claw have been found to also be useful in the treatment of arthritis. According to the Journal of Natural Products, you find it on page 453, was published in 1991. Arthritis News, Journal of Natural Products. The article was published in there, and it was claimed that, the anti-inflammatory qualities of castor claw can be useful in the treatment of arthritis. Now, the effects of castor claw on intestinal permeability is quite remarkable. Now, what is intestinal permeability? I'm sure many of us have heard about the leaky gut syndrome. Now, you know what your gut is. Now, that's the colloquial word for your GI tract, your gastrointestinal tract. All right? Now, the GI tract is supposed to digest the food that we eat and extract the end product of digestion. When you digest carbohydrates, you get glucose as the end product. When you digest protein, you get amino acids as the end product. When you digest fats and oils, you get lipids as the end products. And then when you eat fruits and vegetables, particularly in their raw state, you get a lot of minerals, you get a lot of vitamins, and many other phytochemicals that are very useful to the body. So these end products and useful nutritional factors normally will pass through the walls of the intestine to enter into the bloodstream. And so only the end products of digestion and some other, things like medications that we take are supposed to be able to pass through the walls and enter into the bloodstream. The walls of our guts are supposed to fence off, as it were, or prevent unauthorized access. Anything that should not get into the bloodstream, the intestinal wall will prevent it from passing through to enter into the bloodstream. Because once those things that are unwanted elements, if they manage to pass through the walls of the gut and enter into the bloodstream, the white blood cells in our blood will react to them. They will see them as foreign bodies and start, raising the red flag, raising an alarm, and then there will be an allergic reaction to those substances because they are not recognized as something that should be there, okay? Now, so if anything happens to your gut and compromises its permeability, that things that are not supposed to cross that barrier manage to cross the barrier, then that gut is leaking. We call it leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut syndrome. Now, the effect of cat's claw on leaky gut syndrome is quite remarkable. Now, cat's claw is said to have the ability to cleanse the entire intestinal tract and help, people that are suffering from many different stomach and bowel disorders, including leaky bowel syndrome or leaky gut syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, diverticulitis, hemorrhoids, fistulas, gastritis, peptic ulcer disease, even parasites and, dysbiosis, which is intestinal flora imbalance. Cat's claw has been found to be of tremendous help to people who are going through these challenges. Now, by cleansing the intestinal walls, cat's claw enables the body to better now absorb nutrients, thus helping to correct, nutritional imbalances that has been created, by digestive blockages or leakages. So that's one of the wonderful things that cat's claw can also do for us. Now, many doctors today believe that cat's claw may have a profound ability to get rid of deep-seated infection lodged in the bowel and perhaps even in the mesentery, which can derange the uterus and associated anatomic parts like the prostate, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys, the thymus, and the thyroid for starters. These are different glands, with tissues that, infectious agents can sit deep in their tissues. But cat's claw can actually help, to get rid of this deep-seated infection that are lodged in these various aspects of the body, okay? Now, the Ashanika Indians of Peru use cat's claw or una de gato tea as a cleansing and tonic herb for the immune system, for the intestinal system, for the structural systems of the body. Now, there are certain unique alkaloids in cat's claw that seem to enhance the immune system in a very general way. So these people in Peru actually use cat's claw for this purpose. Now, in traditional medicine of Peru, una de gato is also used to address, inflammations, including arthritis, bursitis, gouty arthritis, rheumatism, gastritis, asthma, and dermal and urinary tract inflammations, and so on. It is also used to treat things like cancer, various other tumors, diabetes, viral infections, menstrual disorders, convalescence, and debility. Now, a few people groups also use cat's claw as a remedy for dysentery and gonorrhea. Now, some of the glycosides that are present in cat's claw may also add protection from pain. And this may explain in part how cat's claw has been helpful in reducing pain associated with chemotherapy, radiation treatment, and various other treatments out there. Now, preliminary studies suggest that the herb, cat's claw, has the ability to stop viral infections in early stages. They can actually help patients who are chemically sensitive. They can help to fight opportunistic infections in HIV/AIDS patients, for example, and decrease the visible size of some skin tumors and cysts as well. Now, a particular substance in cat's claw that is called rhynchophilin is found to inhibit platelet aggregation as well as blood clots, thrombosis. Now, some herbal doctors use a combination of cat's claw and anamu with another herb known as graviola, which is, all these three are rainforest herbs. And I have used all three in the past, okay? I've used cat's claw many times. I've used anamu many times. I've used graviola many times. Now, some herbal doctors actually used all these three as part of an alternative cancer protocol. Now, some herbal experts believe that cat's claw serves the same purpose, like I said, as tamoxifen, which is a drug frequently prescribed for those with breast cancer. And yet, it doesn't carry the same side effects that tamoxifen may carry. Now, let's go on now to the contraindication, as I've done for the previous ones. Now, if you take insulin for diabetes, you have insulin-dependent diabetes, and you are currently using insulin for diabetes, then don't use cat's claw. If you are pregnant, or you want to get pregnant, or you are a nursing mother, then don't use cat's claw. And please don't give cat's claw to a child under the age of 6. Now, these are very important contraindications. That's why, you see, when you want to use herbs for your health and wellness, you have to consult with those who know the medicinal uses of these herbs, those who know the contraindications, and those who know the dosages that are appropriate. All right? That's how to get your best benefits from herbs. Don't be arbitrary in the use of herbs. Otherwise, you may end up harming yourself. Now, this is how far we can go today regarding herbs. We've covered 5 of them so far. We've looked at cat's claw, we've looked at anamu, we've looked at 40, we've looked at ginseng, and we've looked at hibiscus flower tea. And I believe that some of the things we have shared with you so far on these 5 herbs are beneficial. Next week, by God's grace, we'll be looking at yet, 1 or 2 or 3 more herbs that we can also bring on board to serve the various purposes that God has given them to us for. Again, I want us to read Psalm 104, verses 13, 14, and 15 as we close today's episode. I want to read from the King James Version of the Holy Bible of the book of Psalms 104, Psalm 104. I'll start reading from verse 13 to verse 15. It says, He watereth the hills from his chambers. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of thy works. He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle, and herb for the service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth, and wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengtheneth man's heart. Then I'll go to Genesis chapter 1, and I want to read verse number 29. It says, And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb. I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, in Africa, in Asia, in Australia, in North America, in South America, in Latin America, in Western Europe, in Eastern Europe, in Antarctica, every herb upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. And then I'll read Revelation chapter 22, and I will read verses 1 and 2. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves, take note of that, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. The leaves of the trees were for the healing of the nations. Those are medicinal herbs. I hope these convince you that God actually created herbs for the service of man. And there's nothing unspiritual or unchristian in the use of herbs for the benefit of man, for medicinal properties, for industrial properties, for culinary use, and many, many other uses to benefit mankind. As long as we do not bring spiritism, occultism, and all kinds of ritual practices into it, we can just take those plants and herbs that God has given us in our environments. We know how to use them, how to prepare them, how to apply them. We understand the contraindications, and we know the drug-drug interaction, drug-herb interaction, drug-food interaction, herb-food interaction, and we avoid all those pitfalls, then we are good to go. Once again, thank you for being part of Exposé today. The Lord bless you as you face this new week. May every good thing you desire come your way this week. May the Lord load you with great benefits, and may He deliver you from every evil in each day of this week. By the time we meet next week, if Christ tarries, may you have great testimonies to share to the glory of God and to the shame of the enemy, that your joy may overflow. God bless you. I love you. Bye-bye. People are broke and they are not financially viable because they lack good money-making ideas. You may desire to have money, but if you don't have the knowledge of money and the knowledge of how to make money, money is a game. Every rule that you find in a game also applies to money. In a game, some win and some lose. The game of money, some people win money, some people lose money.
Native Financial Intelligence by Reverend Tony Akinyemi is a transformative guide to managing your finance with practical strategies rooted in biblical principles and common sense. Start your journey to financial empowerment today. Grab your copy now.